Count them, two, and do me two whatnot shows in a week, plus some books, plus thoughts. It is that time once again to say those words where we could go ahead and get started, for we could chat and talk and have some fun here. So without further ado,
all right, you want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
actually, it's not. It's about to be just lots of fun and thoughts and other stuff here. But welcome to the desk from a small press poster. I'm your host Joe D. McPhee here, and I'm a little bit tired, mainly not because of fatigue, but a little bit of sinus problems and everything. A little bit loopy with Benadryl, but we're gonna make it through tonight. No big deal. But nevertheless, we're here. It is Saturday, and we got to take care of the business end of things, such as, telling everybody about Stupid O'Clock, which happens 1 hour into this show if we go beyond the 1 hour mark. That is followed up by Last Man Standing, and then you get a little bit of respite into Monday for Nevermind the Furthermore. And yes, Comic Book Spectrum will be happening this Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I still got to fix that slide there and everything. However, unlike past weeks, we are still doing new comic book pickups of the week. However, this time around, I'm live with it. Yeah, I got kind of lazy and didn't do the pre-recording here, so let me go ahead and stretch out a little bit here before we get into the topic of the evening, dealing with whatnot and all the other good stuff. But got a stack of books sitting right here that we're going to talk about here and go through the stack of goodness. So we got come on now, Team Sunstrider in the house. Everybody saying hi. We got Mr. Milo, who is here for both, and do mean for both whatnot shows. So I thank you very much for that, Don. Yep, time to get dangerous. Everybody's agreeing. Don, they're like, oh, well, put it this way. And I just go, I just go, I go, I go. She's talking about, oh yeah, from Kool Aid Man, but the way that I actually felt when I actually got that notification that I got selected for those variant packs, I actually felt it kind of made me feel this way, just like this right here. That's how I felt when I read it. It's like, yeah, you about to get your packs. I'm like, cool. But before we start talking about that, new comic book pickups. Start out with Gen 13, number 10. Yeah, I need to get some more bags and boards too, because not every book came with bags and boards. Classic X-Men number 25. Another copy of X-Men 84, but this one is still in the poly bag and it still had the Caliban card up in it. So that's the only reason why I got it, because it's still sealed in the poly bag. Now, for those who've been following the show, You guys know I picked up a lot of this book from another comic book creator friend of mine by the name shoot. Let me get myself together. By the name of Randy Zimmerman, that is. I was able to get the Pioneers version of Modesty Blaze #1. So I finally found the place that actually has this version of the Modesty Blaze series, and I finally got issue #1 of Modesty Blaze that way. Another Radio Shack Electronics book. This one is actually in somewhat decent shape here, so that's cool. So we got those that we're talking about here. I'm trying to keep everything in order. I gotta flip them over this way. Miss Mystic #8. Another series here that, in a way, I kind of wish that I would have thought ahead. But the way that this stuff is drawn, it's just so much like '90s image. And to be quite honest, '90s image to me was not all that great art wise. But it is Film 5. This is Film 5 #3. And then what's this? Satellite Sam #5. Miss Mystic #4. Again, I don't have them in its correct volumes. And this is from the 6 issue miniseries. And this is going towards finishing off, having all the Huntress series. Huntress 1. This is from the 6 issue mini from 2011. And I know Parallax is saying that's not the right volume. There was another one in between there. Then we got Ghost number 28. So pretty much, Parallax was saying, yeah, she liked that series, and I'm going to give it a try. Here we go. Modesty Blaze Annual #1 from Pioneer, Gen 1345. Satellite Sam issue #12. But this one got a color breaking. It got a color breaking crease there, but I'm not trying to grade it and whatnot. And now we're going to get into some of the newer type stuff. And if I'm correct, this is one of my blanks here. This is the blanks Birds of Prey Undercover. I have a sneaking suspicion that I might end up trying to do a negative space Barda on this one because of the yellow. I might do it. I don't know. If people harass me enough, I'll go ahead and do it. But that's one of the blanks that came in. A variant edition of Birds of Prey #1. And I need to come back over to the chat because I'm not seeing what people are saying. Yeah, I have a link for you, same one I sent to Don. Okay. Yeah, 200 bags and boards for $34 ship. That's fair. That's fair because I'm just thinking to myself, it's like it cost me 18 for 100 bags and boards because it's going to cost me about $9 for the bags and about $9. Well, actually, take that back. $10 for the boards and about $8 for the bags at this one comic book store that I normally go to. So it's about the same. It depends on if I feel like being mobile or not. But yeah, that's an option. That is an option here. Do you hunt locally or just online? I hunt everywhere. I just have better success online than going to stores. And the reason being is that online you could find places that do like dollar books, $2 books, 50-cent books, as opposed to stores where sometimes they might have back issues, and a lot of stores nowadays, as they open up, they don't do back issues. They only do mostly current stuff. Their back issues would be pretty much stuff that is no older than a year old. so it doesn't help me not one bit. Ultimate Comics All New Spider-Man #8. I like this one because I actually was collecting Ultimate Spider-Man back in the day. So I know I have a few of those in storage. Amazing Spider-Man, One More Day for the storyline that I went like boo at the end, because again, I still don't feel that what Peter did to bring back Aunt May made sense. Ultimate X-Men #20, definitely a good book to have. Another copy of World War Hulk Classified, Gen 13 #6. I have to remind myself, get the glare out, because I'm getting glare from the laptop here. Another copy of Spellbound #3. I probably have maybe about like 2 or 3 complete sets of Spellbound now. I don't know. I might bring a set to whatnot. Mystery 42. Again, I have to check my CLZ to make certain that I'm not really just buying duplicates upon duplicates. Spellbound #2. Like I said, most of these I'm not going to worry about either, because I'm spending anywhere between like $1, 50 cents to $1 on these. So, Brave and Bold #4 from the 6-part series. I know I have this up in storage. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save that one for last, because that one is kind of like a holy grail of mine, because I really wanted to read the story, and every place that I went to that had it wanted me to pay upwards of $80 for it, but I was able to get it for about 30. But I'm going to save that for last. We got a Power Rangers Shattered Grid. This, I don't know what issue this is, but there's a nice shiny top on that, so that's a nice one. We got a Sesame Street #1. Don't know how that got up in there, but I think that's just a free book. Dark Crisis. Dark Crisis #4. I believe that the only reason I got that because it was part of a Wonder Woman lot here, and you guys know I don't collect covers, and I don't know if you're trying to think, do I even have any books in Dark Crisis? I probably do, maybe one, or maybe issue 1, because I know I didn't really read the series all that much. Now I got the A cover up. Like, now I finally got the A cover of Wonder Woman Evolution, so that's the A cover. I know I had the B cover for that. Another copy of Wonder Girl #2. Another copy of Wonder Girl Volume 3. Well, issue 3, not Volume 3, issue 3. Another copy of 971. These are books that I already have, but I think I got this in a lot for like $14 here. 785. 789. I know I have all those Wonder Woman, so that's nothing new. Now, yep, Huntress Year 1. That was the one. Beanie and Lils will harass you. What are they going to harass me about? Silver A size recyclable, comes right to your door. If you watch it, they will send you an offer for $32.89. Yeah, like I said, that to me is like, as long as for $5 or $6 off, maybe I'll do the mail order. But if I have to travel like 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes there and 20 to 30 minutes back, I mean, if I'm out and about and making that run anyway, it's the same difference. So, it's an alternative. It's a workable alternative for me here. Now, this one I gotta read here. This is Birds of Prey Undercover. I have no idea what this entails here, but that's going to be on my reading list for Comic Book Spectrum. Now we get into some more up-to-date books. Birds of Prey #11, #12, #13. So I'm happy with those. Here. So now I get to get caught up on the Birds of Prey stuff that I've been reading for Comic Book Spectrum. I made mention of this over comic book spectrum this Thursday. This is what I was talking about, the suburban Jersey Ninjas She Devils #1. It was only one issue long. It was not meant to be a one shot. They were actually thinking about making this a series here. Is it good? To me, it's more of a meh. They tried to do too much too fast too soon in that issue, to be quite honest here. Avengers Annual #15, which is nice here. This here, I have always talked about this series here, and this is, I would say it's not safe for work. However, it is not your average adult comic book because it does talk about a lot of actual psychological issues dealing with the main topic here, but at the same time is comedic satire, which is good. And I know Parallax would get a kick out of it because it has her type of people. It has her type of people up in it. We got another. I think this is a second one. I'm not certain if I had a Black Diamond one or not earlier, but there it is, a Black Diamond #1 from AC Comics. New Avengers 50, yeah, 58. Again, I'm not certain if I had these issues. This is what I showed Parallax earlier because I told her it's like, I got this issue 1 because I wanted to see what everybody was talking about, and she was like, "Oh, this is a great series, this, that, and the other." So I want to check it out. So I finally got a Ghost #1. We got a Doom Patrol 78. Trying to finish off Volume 2 of Doom Patrol. I know I'm missing issues here. Gold Foil Avengers number three. I can't even talk. 366. And then we got the silver 369. I know I had one of these. And yes, we still got more books here. We got most of the Beauty and the Beast series here. I think I have a copy of issue 3 in storage. I have to come back across it, but there's issue 1, issue 2, and issue 4. So we got most of the run here. Just like with this here, with the Last Defenders, I know I got a couple of copies of that only because they, I saw that it kind of had Nighthawk up in there, and we know that Nighthawk was a part of Squadron. So there's issue 1, issue 2, and this is issue 6, the last issue of the series. Another Jaguar #1. And again, I'm trying to finish off this series here, trying to get the rest of that series here. Issue #2. X Factor 34. Spellbound issue #6. Even though this is beat up to hell, it was given to me for free. We got Immortal X-Men #4, given to me for free. Birds of Prey #7. Heroes for Hire #12. Fantastic Four 351. Wonder Woman 71. That's an extra copy. And then we got some more Miss Trees. So issue 7 and issue 45. So we're getting closer and closer to a full run of Miss Tree. I'm just missing a few issues here. Birds of Prey. This is for New 52, issue #33. So again, lots of Birds of Prey that I am missing here. Almost another complete set of Johnny Thunder. Well, I don't know what. Oh yeah, we got. Oh, I guess that's what happened. We got 2 copies of issue #2, and then issue #3. Birds of Prey Manhunt, issue #3. Female Furies, issue number 5. I know the top is not all that great, but it's still a decent issue of it. Agent Carter number 1, and that was off of a dollar show. They had a Agent Carter number 1, Shadow Strikes number 1, X Factor 251, 252, Miss Marvel 11. I think this is like my second copy of that. And then another series that I didn't realize that they did a modern version of it. It's called the Inferior Five. I know in the 1960s run that was a whole different thing, but this is a 12 issue mini series, or as they call it, a maxi series. The Spirit number 8, Birds of Prey number 19, Uncanny X-Men number 16. I think this is one of the later versions of Uncanny X-Men, the one that I haven't collected as of yet. Uncanny X-Men number 19, Squadron Supreme number 2, number 3, and number 4 with Tundra on there. So that's pretty much all of that in a nutshell here. Let me move this stack off to the side before I could get to what I told you was one of my grails here. Now, those who know me, know that I follow Mr. Miracle a lot from the very beginning. Dealing with Scott Free and Barter and everything, and eventually it crossed over to a little bit into the Forever People. But there was one story that was in particular written by Jack Kirby that I have never read. I was told about this from why are names escaping me today? I know I'm getting old. I'm getting old today. But I was told about this to look it up, and everybody was raving that it was a great story that he wrote, dealing with everybody dealing with New Genesis and an apocalypse. The title of the book is called The Hunger Dogs. So when I found out about it, and this was a couple of years ago, I was started to look it up on Amazon because it was only done as a graphic novel. So you look it up on Amazon. Everybody had it used for a big amount of money because it seems like it was a short print by DC. It was short printed. Everybody had it for like $80, $80 to $100. Year after year after year, could not come across it for any time on sale. However, one night I'll have to say last week or the week before, uh, was on Whatnot, and lo and behold, on sale at about at a price of $45, and they was like, no, it's not going to be $45. We're going to slash the price for you. How about 30? I was like, deal. I got it. I finally have it here. Jack Kirby's The Hunger Dogs. So I'm finally going to get to read this graphic novel for the first time. I may go ahead and do a review here, like a blast for the past type deal on this. But I still, like I said, I still got my Birds of Prey stuff to read as well. I still got the Birds of Prey stuff to read as well. But this is kind of like one of my grail reads here. And like it's like some people know, I'm not a big fan of graphic novels, but something like this would catch my attention, and I would definitely read through it here. I kind of hold this up just like I hold up X-Men God Loves Man Kills. And if you're able to get a first printing of God Loves Man Kills, good on you. Because that will be the unadulterated version. That's the one that has not been edited. There have been other printings of it that has been edited. I think first and second print are not edited. By the time you get to third or fourth printing, that's when you have all the different edits because of the different scenes and everything. And that's the key thing here. But yes, I will be reading this shortly, and I will see what everybody is going to is saying about the Hunger Dogs. I heard great things about it. So that is comic book pickups for the week here. Let me go ahead and move all this stuff out the way so I can have some room here. I'm not going to forget about my sketchbook or sketch cover. I guess I said it right here for right now. So that is out my way. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. Oh, you never heard of the Hunger Dogs? You never heard of the Hunger Dogs? Have and like I said, I was made aware of it maybe about like 3 to 4 years ago because I was a big fan of Mr. Miracle, and because Mr. Miracle was originally written by Jack Kirby during the time of DC. Um, Other people was telling me it's like, well, why don't you look into the Forever People? So I picked up a couple of issues of Forever People, picked up a couple of issues of the older New Gods, and was reading a lot about the lore behind it. And then they was like, well, if you like all of this, try to track down the graphic novel called the Hunger Dogs. So yeah, it's old enough where a lot of people may not be aware of it, but at the same time, I'm hearing a lot of good things as far as the classic ring behind it, Don. What? You have not heard of X-Men God Love Man Kills? Okay, hold on, Don. Let me do this for you. If I could recommend graphic novels for you to read off the top here, this would probably be either number one or number two on my list here. This is the book that I'm talking about, X-Men God Loves Man Kills. And I believe the next time that I do talk about this book will be for a specialized event, a fundraising event, where I'm actually going to do an in-depth review of this. Now, there's certain things that I'm going to have to leave out in that review. I'm going to have to leave out certain scenes in it, but we're going to have an in-depth talk about it. I have done a couple of papers dealing with just this graphic novel alone. So that would be one that I would recommend here. And the other one that I would probably recommend. And forget the stickers and stuff that's on the back here. This is the other one. This is the Hulk and Thing by Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson. This story is hilarious and it's great. And I could speak volumes about how this unlikely pair makes a great duo, both from a hero perspective, from a comedic perspective, and just how everything ends. It's just how everything ends is just classic. This is just classic writing. So this is the other one. If you could ever get your hands on it, it's called The Incredible Hulk and the Thing, and that's this graphic novel is done by Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson. So that's another one here. Oh, there's certain scenes in this book that they removed. One is considered depending on how thick skin you are. One scene is considered taboo, quote unquote taboo, because it represented a lynching, and it represented a lynching of a certain nationality of children. So in some later revisions of the book of God Love Man Kills, they remove certain panels from those copies. But I know first printing had it, second printing had it, later printings took it out, and I think the when they broke it down into comic book form, I think they put it back in for that one. The two issue re-release that they did not too long ago, where they added extra stuff into it. But that's not the only scene that was bad up in it. There was other stuff that, if I go in depth in telling people about it may, it's not gory or bloody or anything. It's just, it shows the nature of man in that book, or at least one man in that book, with what his mindset was. So yeah, that's a nicer way to put it. But well, it's not just the fact that they were strung up. They were strung up. They had the sign and everything stating that they were mutant and everything. So it was akin to the older pictures from history where, you know lynchings were documented. It pretty much mimicked that to a T, and that's the reason why they removed it. Some of the scenes are still up in there. It's like they just removed that close up panel of them hanging. But you still, it's like, the way that I remember the page in the edit is that they showed you the swing set that they did it from, but they didn't go close up on the pictures of the kids. They removed the pictures of the kids and everything out of it, and they just show Magneto responding to it. Magneto was looking down at it, and he had his reaction. Yeah, new colors, and they add the new stuff that they added. They add the stuff from Kitty Pryde's point of view, because the way that they did it in comic book form, they told the story, but it was told in such a way that they added stuff from the view of Kitty Pryde as she looked back upon that particular adventure. Was it good? No. They kind of did the exact same thing with Giant Size X-Men 1. Actually, I would tell you to hunt down one of these. This, I believe this is a first printing. This is Marvel graphic novel number 5. I think this is a first printing. I know the first two printings look exactly like this. When they change the front color graphics, that's when you can start and get into the edited version. But I know the first two printings of this book looks like exactly like this. So those are a couple of graphic novels that like I said, I'm not a big graphic novel fan. I don't go out my way to buy graphic novels, but those are two that would be on my like top 10. Not necessarily like one and two, but I know X God Loves Man Kills is either my one or two each and every day. That's just how well that book was received, at least in my point of view. The Bernie Wrightson and Jim Starlin Thing and Hulk, that's in my top 5. All because of the ending. All because of the ending. They went through all of these troubles, all this trouble for, well, to make a long story short, they went through all this trouble for a possibility of becoming back to normal, where they could be Ben Grimm and Bruce Banner permanently. They go through all this, do the good deed and everything, and they was granted their wish. What a certain person did was so hilarious, and the final reaction was just beyond belief. And when people first told me about it, it's like, no, that didn't happen. It's like, no, it did. It did. It really did happen that way. And that story is like, no. And then I bought the book and read it. And it's like, wow, classic. So yeah, that would be something that you want to hunt down and everything here. But let's get to the topic at hand, the topic of the day. One, how in the world were you able to get the variant packs? And two, your thoughts of being a part of an exclusive release in that aspect here. One, I was actually surprised that Whatnot sent me the email saying, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" And no, we didn't get the books for free because if we would have got the books for free, I think nobody would have valued it, at least seller wise. That is. So for me to get the 10 that I got, I was in the hole $100. So I'm starting in the hole $100 just to be able to get those packs that I did get. And then you have to be willing to schedule a show on the release date itself. Now, because of shipping, they say it's like, well, it's okay if you push your times back, and they were saying you could do, if worst comes to worst, you could do it on Saturday. I stuck with my 10 p.m. time because I was like, you know what, 10 p.m. is going to be after work. People are going to be settled down. If people didn't have a chance to get it that morning, and we'll get to what I saw here and what some of the downfalls of what I saw from other sailors. And to me, it may kind of make my skin crawl a bit. It does, but nevertheless, the whole thing was, you know, you get your packs. There were certain rules that you had to follow. One, you couldn't open any of the packs before the release date. You could talk about it, you could show them, but you really couldn't go and open up a pack before the release date. That At least that was the indicator to us here. So you couldn't do anything special with it. The second thing is that, like I said, they're going to charge you 100. It's like if you got five, they charge you 50. If you got 10, it was 100. So I was down $100 coming into this. The other thing was that you had to do the what I call, how to say, rip it or ship it. You had to do the live reveal. It's like you have to do the live reveal, but the way that they said it's like you could give the people the option. I'd rather give you guys the option because sometimes you just don't want your pack ripped open. And it's like it makes the, if I could say, the mystery of what you got less important if you know exactly what's happening here. And two, I know me as a collector, depending on how people open up those packs, it's like, but I wanted that bag. I wanted to preserve the bag. So you have to kind of be mindful about how to open it up. And I just saw people just going across the top with scissors and everything. It's like that bag is not reusable. It's like you can't even display the bag in that aspect. So it was just weird. And then the ones that were really good with it, they had their gloves and everything. They made certain that they tried to keep fingerprints to a minimum, just like I was trying to do here with those that I opened up. I didn't want to mess up the bags too much. So it's like, the top back portion of the bag may be a little bit off, but the front part where the artwork is still intact, where you could actually still display, you could actually still frame that stuff up and do what you need to do with it here. So that is the great thing. Yes, how did the process go, and did you pitch for it? No, I didn't have to pitch for it. They actually came to us as sellers to say, with an email saying, hey, this is what's going on. Marvel is having this exclusive. This is the outline of what you're agreeing to, and then you sign up that way, and then they send you the information of what you need to know and how you need to go about conducting your show at that point. We didn't have to pitch to get to that. Now let's get to what I saw, which is the bad stuff that happened. Beginning of that day, I saw one seller had certified copies of the book, of especially of some of the silver and gold. And I'm sitting back, it's like, well, how would you do that? Consider now, mind you, I'm at that time I was considering if everybody got the exact same email, how in the world did you get CGC certified copies? And when I say certified copies, I mean already slabbed, ready to go for this show. When we barely got these packs in the mail the same week, it was less than 1 week's turnaround. Now, unless you have like friends of friends of friends that are at CGC and CBCS, it makes me scratch my head and wonder. It's like, did you violate terms? So, that was the one thing that I just didn't like. It's like I saw what I consider maybe violation of terms here, or it just could have been luck of the draw. But that one to me seemed like it was violation of terms because there was nothing there that indicated that having slab copies available. And he was selling those slabs along with the packs. But he had to open up a pack to get them slab. And he wasn't selling 3 slabs. He was selling 1 slab at a time, depending on what it was. Which also brings me to the other thing. It was my understanding of the rules that we could not keep any of the packs, even though we paid for them. That was the thing that, like I said, me and my ethical mind. Even though we paid for them, we had to pay $100 for these packs, or at least I paid $100 for my 10 packs. Even though we paid for them, it was the understanding that we could not keep any. We had to sell what we claimed. Now, whether or not other people followed that comes into scrutiny. And like I said, maybe I misunderstood that aspect of the promotion. Because if that was the case, and Parallax would attest to this, I probably would have kept 3 of them for myself, 3 of those packs for myself here. But I did the right thing ethically and just sold all 10. Mainly because I've also found out that the gold foil and the silver foil were eventually going to be one per stores anyway. So it's a good possibility. It's a good possibility that you'll be able to still get one without having to pay the eBay pricing, the eBay markup pricing for those who broke open a pack and tried to resell it just to make money. What I also found weird is that some of the packs had remarks on them. And when I say packs, I'm talking about the bags had remarks. Now, I'm going to chalk that up to luck of the draw because, you know, it's like you just don't know what packs had what and what bags had what. We didn't know that. We didn't know that. We only know the odds. They only gave us the odds and everything. They did make mention of sometimes like the sign books and maybe a couple of remark packages, but it was not, it was like one of those things that was just not one of those things that went across the board and everything here. So from getting the email and getting the packs was about a week. Yeah, was a week. Yeah, in my case it was. In my case it was. I got the I got the email at the very beginning of September. I sent my request in because they actually first you have to sign up. I signed up and everything, and then earlier this week I got my email saying you have been selected and your book should be there no later than Thursday. So it's about a week turnaround. It's about a week turnaround. Maybe about like 8-day turnaround. So about a week. That's one of the things that being a whatnot seller you have to get used to. One of the things that you have to agree to when you are on whatnot selling is that you have to have turnaround within 2 days. So if you have like a whatnot sale, your goal is from the time that that book is sold, you have 48 hours to get it to the post office. Are they strict about that? Not so much, but they have their means and metrics to determine which sellers are keeping up with that 48 hours and which ones are not. Luckily for me, I don't have like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sales to keep track of. I might have like in this case, I had like 8 on yesterday and 4 on today. That's easy turnaround. And if you don't believe me, I got the stuff packed up already, ready to go to the post office right now. So it's for me, it's just more along the lines. It's like, okay, get the stuff packed up. Got the label printer and everything because again, I do Kickstarter, so I have my own postage printer and everything to that magnitude. Print out everything, package it up, take it to the post office. They scan it in, they're off to you. So that turnaround is just the key thing. So I would expect them to be able to do the exact same turnaround or faster because that's what they expect from us. That's how they keep their branding. Yes, that's what they suggested. $1 starts on them. So it was no set price. It was $1 auction. That's what they suggested for everybody. $1 auction. If you don't believe me, let me do this here. You guys know how I am about transparency. I'm going to open up my Outlook. And I'm going to try to not dox myself too much. Okay, let me double click on this. And here we go. Transparency. And this is the key thing. You want to inspire trust in people and you want people to trust you, be transparent. This is the email that they sent me when they said that I was fully into the thing. Important info. We're excited for you to take part in this exclusive release of X-Men 97 trading packs on September 13th. This email means you are all set, so please read carefully. If you order a 5-pack bundle, it will ship this week. Please wait until the 12th before contacting support. A second bundle will be sent separately if available. So that's how I got my 10. Use our thumbnail stickers for your show. So I had to go and redo my thing, which I did. Do not sell packs before the 13th. Early sales would disqualify you for future events. We recommend. Let me move Don's thing here for I can make sure that people be able to see it. We recommend that auctioning packs starting at $1 and no mystery prices. Your show would be auto tag, and and the shelf will be live on the 12th. So that's how I was on their main page for this. So my show is on their main page and everything. And then here's the information about the packs, and this was the part that I had in my show notes here about each what each pack had here. Each pack would have one trade dress, one version in either a gold or a silver foil. And then they were up here talking about promotional items. It's like here's the Google Drive where you could get the images, and then preview night. Tune into influencers Comic Tom and Dave Ryder for previews of the shows for the first look at the packs on Thursday night. So they got all the nice, cool stuff. So they made exceptions for them. I'm not that important here, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much was the rules that I have to follow up under. Now, like I said, I put myself in more of an ethical point of view. I could have, like I said, if I really was more devious, I would have went ahead and kept a couple for myself. But ethically wise, I sold all 10. That way I know for a fact what not cannot come to me and state that, oh, you're up here causing a problem and this, that, and the other. So that's the real deal here. It was, I don't think it's before the street date per se. I believe comic book stores got different versions of those books. That was the major difference here. Comic book stores got different versions of that. Their versions come out on a different day than that one. And besides, that was a deal that whatnot worked out with Marvel. So I don't know the full ins and out of that deal. But was it before the street date release of X Men '97? I really don't know. I'm not certain what day X Men '97 came out. It might, as far as I know, it might have came out this Wednesday. Who knows? But I had to follow those rules. Those were the rules that I had to follow for that. To answer that question here. So that's the reason why it left me wondering. It's like, how are these people getting CGC copies of these already at 9/8? How are people, violating this type of stuff? And then I sat back and realized it's like maybe the more popular sellers got these emails earlier. Maybe my invite came later, meaning that it's like towards the tail end of August, they thought about people like myself, where people like Comic Tom probably would have got it probably beginning of August or even July. Give them ample time to even do like the CGC certified books and all the other stuff. Which, in a way, it could be good, it could be bad. Not saying that's a bad thing to be able to have that option, but it does drive up their price margins here. The good thing about what had happened is that it brought new people to my show. That was the great thing about it. It brought new people to my show. They know that I'm alive and kicking, and know that I'm selling comics and everything. And then they also know that in price gouging. Because I could tell you per se, and Don could attest to this, Parallax could attest to this. The prices that those packs were going on my show was actually reasonable compared to some of the other shows that I've seen where packs were going for like 150, 200. And like I said, the one live fail remark at $420. I saw that. I just shook my head. It's like that's kind of ridiculous. Now contrast that show on Friday with what happened today. It was night and day difference. today's show was to me kind of like back to the norm, where it's like instead of seeing like the big numbers, it'd be a good day if I break anywhere between like 25 to $30. It didn't happen, but that's kind of like the normal course of action here. Why? Because I don't sell the bigger books here. And the reason I don't sell the bigger books because I'm not a comic book reseller nor a person that sells other people's collections. I only sell out of my extras from my own personal collection. I only joined Whatnot as a means to be able to sell my creative own books that I publish to a marketplace that has comic book buyers. And have I ever sold an issue of Amazonia Primetime Saturday Night or AWF on Whatnot as of yet? Nope. Has there been interest? No. Have I mentioned it on the show? Yes. Again, I have the 9.8 slabs that I put out there on the show, just as a reminder for people. Hey, I got my own CGC Studio stuff out there. Take a look at it. It's just kind of like a hard sell type deal. See, Don is saying, well, one streeter was starting bid at $150, like the starting price. Yeah, like I said, I showed you. I don't have a reason to lie. I don't have a reason to lie about that. That's what it was suggested. $1 starts. Now, like I said, ethical and unethical. That was that seller's choice. He didn't have to start at $1. He could do 150. But here's the thing. If you put it at 150 and your clientele, your normal people who comes to your show buys at 150, no harm, no foul. In my case, I really don't have that big of a following as of yet. I could not afford to put it at 150, knowing that I'm $100 in the hole. And knowing that in the past I maybe only had maybe two, no, one show that I made over $100. I couldn't afford it. So I had to do the dollar start to make it more enticing. But like I said, he probably knows his clientele. He probably knows that people would be willing to pay $150 for it. And it's kind of like what Parallax says. It's like you never know with Dude Bros. Dude Bros would they'll probably pay through the nose for a lot of those stuff, which again set precedents for those books to be overpriced. Yeah, your prices were much was the most reasonable on all that I saw. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest ones, the most expensive one sold for 70. Now it would have been nice if I was getting that 150, $200. That would have been like I would have been through the moon. I would be through the moon. I would be like, you know what? I could put this money aside. I could get more of my books printed. I could even think about possibly going to a show at the end of the year. Might just drop. Well, I can't drop everything for New York because one, even though the booths and stuff would be not so bad, I don't have the type of money to pay for lodging. The last time I did New York in 2016, I paid more just for my hotel stay than what I paid for my booth at New York Comic Con. That speaks volumes to me. I have to pay more money than the price of my booth. And to think, I had a premiere booth at New York. So put that price tag in your mind right there. And then for what 1, 2, 3, close to a 6-night stay at a hotel. that was a couple of blocks away from the convention center. I was spending more than the cost of my booth. And when I say more, we're talking about somewhere on average, maybe $500 to $600 more than the cost of my booth. So now I get that one guy that's up here that was running for what mayor or governor that talked about the rent's too high. Hell yeah, the rent's too high there. Shoot, that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. No wonder people up here talking about they cross over the river to New Jersey and commute in and all this other stuff. Heck, I was like, I just don't have the time. It's like I did that once for San Diego. It's like never again. Because if you go back to your hotel room just to drop stuff off and you have to wait almost like another hour just to get like a shuttle bus or something, it's like nah, not worth it at that point. But saying all that to say, it is what it is. But like I said, to me, it's about keeping things reasonable and being reasonable with the books. I could you know price things at I could price things at fair market value and try to sell it that way, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. It doesn't work out for your betterment in that form in that fashion because why? I mean, yeah, you might know that. Oh, like that 205. That 205, I know for a fact was more along the lines like a $10 book. I sold it at a $2 start. Why did you do it at $2 if you know it's at the first 10? Because to me, the book, even with its flaws, need to go into the hands of a person who really wants to give it a good home. For me to struggle and haggle for $10 for it doesn't make any sense to me. What makes sense to me is, hey, if you're willing to take it off my hands for $2, I take the $2 and we could move along. But if I'm going to sit there and try to get the most money for books that to me, and like I said, there's a lot of times I feel like some books are just overpriced anyway. What makes good sense to me is what makes good sense to me based upon fair market value. That 205 was like one of those books. It's like, yeah, it's in great condition. I know I could get a little bit more change for it, but with $2 start, let's see where it goes. I'm not going to be upset if I get $2 for it. Some of the number ones that I was selling, $1 starts, and people were paying $1 for it. Makes me know doesn't make me feel bad that I'm not getting like the 5, 10, or 15. As long as it's going to a good home, I'm okay with it. And that's the key thing. And maybe that's more because of my preservationist mindset than my corporate greed mindset. Because my preservationist mindset is like, this one is extra. You got the ones that you need to keep whether if I'm going to slab or not. You have a one just in case you need to read something over again. This one here is extra. You don't need to price gouge. You just need to get some type of compensation for it, whether it be 50 cents or $1 or $2. No big deal. I mean, am I going to put like a first gamut up there for $1? If I have five of them, why not? If I had 10 of them, why not? Why am I going to try to price gouge somebody for what is it, X Men what 286? The numbers might be off here, but X-Men 286 first gambit. Why am I going to price gouge somebody if I had 10 copies of it? No, this is one, just give me some compensation for it. I'm not going to think no more, no less. Now, if I sold a slab version of that, you want to pay me what it's worth, because that tells me that I put a little bit more effort into it. But a raw, I could care. I could care less unless I really need the money. But now, times I'd be like, okay, here, $5, and people going to look at me strange, like I gotta steal. It's like, yeah, but what you don't know is like I had six of them, or I had 12 of them. I'm not missing it. I'm not going to miss it. But those are the types of things here. And that's the thing. I could be upset because of not getting the hundreds of dollars that other people are getting, but I'm going to be realistic. I don't have the following like people think on whatnot. And I was just happy the fact that I was getting, the 60 and $70. That to me is a win. With selling two packs, I covered the cost of my 10. And I had a little bit of chump change left over in profit. Everything else to me was just like, it was just like extra. But what made me upset was with that show was I also tried to sell other X-Men books and nobody was paying attention to it because they only wanted the packs. And that kind of made me see people's mentality. I can't get upset about it. Can't get mad, but I just like saw it that if we do an exclusive show here, and that's one reason why I treated the extra X-Men books as padding, because I wanted people to pre-bid. I wanted to see where these things were going. So some people were pre-bidding. So it's like before I even got into the show, I started seeing like people were pre-bidding $1, $5, and everything. By the time we actually started selling like our second pack, I started seeing those pre-bids hit like 15 and $20. I was like, this might be a good day. Contrast to today's show, which is our normal show, there was no pre-bids. Pretty much, playing it by ear. The good thing about it is that we had people flowing in, and that made me feel better that people are now flowing into the show and was actually taking a look and looking around and seeing what was going on because of the X-Men show. So that's the cool thing here. I mean, it is what it is. It's like one of the things that I know other bloggers talk about, people like Bryce Comics, Mint Hunter, and those who have the bigger followings about the whole catch and release type deal. For me, if I come across a certain book, like for example, perfect example, X-Men 191. I buy that book a lot. Why? Because it was not just only my first X-Men book, it was one of the first comic books that I have ever read that got me on this journey. So when I come across a decent one, and I come across a decent one at $5 or less, yeah, I don't hesitate to buy it. But when I take a look at it, it's like, well, can I spare this one? Yeah, I normally do. You can ask Elaine. I gave Elaine one just for free. I brought some here to Whatnot, sold them for $1, even though I paid $5 for it. Reason why? Because at that time I probably had six. I think I finally got the total back up to four. But the reason being is that having six, seven, and eight of them serves me no purpose beyond the ones that I actually going to keep and probably grade and do whatever I'm going to do with it. All the extras, it's just in a lack of better terms, it's cannon fodder, meaning that I could sell this off, I could give them away, I could do what is necessary to maintain my collection. And you have to have that type of mentality that you may not get what fair market value is for each and every book because each and every book is not a 9.8 or a better. But you're not going to hold on to a book just to get like your money back. the market fluctuates so much that a lot of times you're not going to get exactly what you pay for it. That was one of the reasons why I was so happy that my greatest adventures number 80 came back a way higher grade than what it was sold to me as. It was sold to me as a 1.5. I had it pressed and graded, and it came back a 4.5. I was ecstatic because now I know for the amount of money that I paid for that book back in the 90s, I have made up for that by holding on to it. Now I got the facsimile. The facsimile would be my reader copy. I don't have to go out there in the world and look for more copies of it. I just got another copy of Wonder Woman 205 and 206. I have them sitting off to the side here where I could actually attempt to get them graded soon once I have the money, you know, set aside for it. That's the type of mentality that I have here. Now, all the extra ones that I get for the second appearance of Nubia and the third appearance of Nubia, I might let them go for like $10 to $15 or maybe less, depending on their condition. I mean, if it's if it's piss poor condition, hell, I might even do $1. And people will be like, "Why are you doing it at $1?" It's like, look at it. You know, it looks like it's $1 book. I know what's in there. I know the significance, but you can't get around $1, a book that looks like $1. Just like with some people with colorless books, I end up getting a X-Men number 10, the Hat Kazar, for $1 because it was coverless. People sleep on things because of the fact that they put too much significance on the wrong thing. The fact that the book didn't have a cover didn't make the book less important. People didn't want it because without the cover, I can't get the big bucks. It's like, no, it's about the contents inside of it. So now with having that X Men 10 that's coverless, that could be my reader copy. And the one that I have that still has its cover intact in Mylar can go and get graded. You have to look at things from a brighter perspective. And a lot of things are not always driven by money. And that's kind of like one of the things that drives me up the wall about making the hobby pay for itself. The only way the hobby pays for itself is if you, the individual, have buyers that wants to buy your books. That's the only way it works. Because you could collect for as many years as I have. Your books may not be as valuable to the next person who might want them. That's just a fact of life. Everybody's up here trying to make it, like stock market and finance. But when it comes to commodities like comic books, literature, and stuff to that magnitude, it is only as valuable as the next collector standing next to you. You could take an Onslaught Gold. And when I say Onslaught Gold, I'm talking about the gold cover of Onslaught number 1 that had the certification that came along with it. I own one of those. That book, as of right now, even with it being, having so much 24 karat gold in it, it's probably like a $10 book. It is what it is. I paid a hundred back in the day for it. Probably it's a $10 book. It's not going to be worth all that much. Not because of the significance of Onslaught. I mean, Onslaught was a popular series and whatnot, but there's no collectors out there that's going like, ooh, gold, actual 24 karat gold cover. It is what it is. But having all these people up here telling others, it's like the hobby could pay for itself. It could, but the likelihood of it is very few and far between because you have to consider other collectors. Now, I could honestly say people like myself, maybe even Don, maybe even Parallax, we're not falling for speculation like other people are. So books that people are saying, "Oh, this book is like a $60 book," we're looking at them. It's like, no, it's about $5. It's only being upcharged that way because of speculation. It's not because it's that rare. It's not because the quantity available is low. It's about what other people are saying and how people are other how newer collectors are valuing it more. And Parallax was here because we actually discussed it before. How can a book from 1945 be less valuable than a book from 1963? And we did that comparison. And she knows which two books I did it on. And it's a shame. It is a shame, but the thing about it is that's just the nature of collecting. But getting back to the whole whatnot thing here, those were the kind of things that if they do another exclusive sale, I might be more inclined to doing it, depending on the book. X-Men I know a lot about, so I knew if I had to like get on there and try to twist people's arms to buy it, I could talk a little bit about it. The next one that people are quote unquote rumoring that's going to happen, the next exclusive pack that's going to say that it's going to be random books, like it's going to be a bundle of books from different titles. I think I might end up passing on that one. But we it's a wait and see type deal. We have to see what actually comes down the pike here on that. I might I might just go ahead and forego that and be like, hey, that's just a little bit too random for me to try to sell. But at least with the X-Men 97 number ones, that went through quite swimmingly here. I did a lot better than I thought I was going to do for that show. Did I get the obscene numbers that others were getting? No. But I made a lot of people happy because they paid a lot less getting those packs from me than where they was going elsewhere with the more popular sellers. Because I'm seeing, like I say, when I was seeing those packs go for like $100 and $150, I was just shaking my head. I was like, that's just way too much money, way too much money. But it is what it is. It's just the nature of the beast here, and also it's also more about popularity too. The more popular that you are, or the more influential you are, the more people are willing to pay. And it's sad. It is sad because I could pretty much tell you if people would have went to the lesser known sellers, they probably could have got a great deal on those packs. After they saw that they were going for like $150 to $200, they was like they could have came to my show and picked it up for about like 60 to 70. Save a couple dollars. But that's the key thing here. And then, like I said, you still going to have people like Don stated here, starting at 150. And I believe the only reason why they started at 150 is because they was looking at other people's shows and they were seeing that they was going for 150. For me, that's not a factor. That's just not a factor. If I see something go for 150, I also have to take in consideration that's the clientele that those people are bringing in. Their customers are willing to pay that. People that comes to my show, not so much. Not so much. Perfect example, that Hulk number 8 that I normally have on my show for $50. People don't realize that that slab is actually worth more than that. And I just only priced it, $20 over grading. But it is what it is. Sometimes people just don't know what a great deal is, and sometimes people get into that hype machine and thinking that because it's exclusive that they're going to pay the exclusive price for it when they don't really have to, just not to know where to get it. So on that note, we're about an hour 20 minutes in. Is there any other questions that you guys have about what it's like to be, in an exclusive sale through Whatnot, or just the Whatnot selling experience as a whole here? Let me open up the floor to everybody because, like I said, this is a truly interactive show, and I try to keep everybody engaged here. I am still working on odds and ends stuff, as far as the comic book side here. I started the groundwork for another possible story to go into the anthology for the more adult book that I've been working on. So, we got that going on in the background as well as some of the other stuff here. Okay, bear with me for 1 second here. Oh, looks like I gotta get going here, so I'm gonna go ahead and bid you guys adieu here. So let me go ahead and do that. I do hate the fact that I have to end abruptly, but I got somebody who just arrived here that I need to talk to. That's what that phone call was about here. I thought they were going to be here later, but it is what it is here. Let me see. The question here: have you sold on any other platform or just Whatnot? Um, primary, primary, just only Whatnot. Other platforms that I have, like I said, I have my own website. If I really wanted to do claim sales, I could do claim sales pretty much like how other people do it here on YouTube, and then just broadcast it through YouTube to the website here. But to me, it's just not a platform type deal. Yep, not a problem here, Don. That's what I'm here for. That's what we all are here for. So I'm going to bid you guys adieu here because I gotta get going. Um, as I always say, live life, grow, and be well. I'll catch you here next week here. Let me go take care of this bit of business here, and I will see you then. I'll tell you guys a little bit more on that day. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we are out of here.